Okay, guys, what is up? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you are enjoying the channel, enjoying the streams, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Because of course you'll be notified. And make sure you check out Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link at the top of the chat. You can get some discount opportunities there when we do launch. So if you don't want to miss out on that, make sure you check it out. And of course, you can join in discussion, share trading opportunities with other traders as well. So if you're interested, feel free to join. Link at the top of the chat. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing good. Karis, good morning. Hope you're well. FX Wolf, good morning. Will, good morning. Brian, good morning. Holy One, good morning. Hope everyone is doing good. So today's Friday. We had CPI yesterday, which didn't cause too much movement in the market. We did see a bit of up and down on the USD, on the dollar, but overall we kind of stayed in the same place as we were prior to CPI. All we just saw was a bit of a wicks up and down. So not much to report on there for USD. I have, however, jumped into a third position. I'm still holding on to my Aussie CHF short trade, which is going sideways at the moment, being a bit wishy-washy. We did break out that channel yesterday, which is the key thing I was looking for, but momentum hasn't really kicked in. So yeah, that one's just kind of moving sideways since the big drop on Monday, but I'm still holding on to that position. Pound yen, I'm still holding on to that one as well. It hasn't taken me out the trade yet or moved into profit. This one as well looks like it has broken out that channel, but again, not really seeing the bearish momentum I'm looking for. So again, a bit wishy-washy with that one. And I've hopped into a third position, which was some longs on Euro USD, which is literally this morning on the back of that 4-hour close. But I've been speaking about Euro, taking some longs off the high here. We came back into a lovely little bit of structure and saw a nice rejection there as well. So I've hopped into a long stop loss just below, looking to see potentially if we can take it back to the high, but not necessarily expecting us to get there. I'll be a bit more aggressive with my stop loss in terms of trading it, because I'm kind of expecting us to put a lower high in somewhere and probably come back down at some stage. But if dollar is going to be weak, then we might see a really big push back to the high. And of course, I'll be looking to ride that as well. Now, I have hopped into a third position here. So longs in euro, shorts in pound yen, shorts in Aussie CHF, with Aussie CHF being break even at the moment. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's actually a while since I've hopped into a new position, because pound yen was 2 weeks ago. Aussie CHF was a week and a half ago. So I haven't actually taken any new trades since then. But Euro USD lined up pretty well. Like the rejection on the 4-hour. Daily was looking good as well. Came back to a nice area of confluence, ticked the boxes. So I'm happy to get into a long position with that. And we'll see how this one goes as well. But that's kind of where I'm at the moment. How's everyone doing? Pedro, good morning. Welcome to the stream. FRFX, hope you're doing good. Good morning. Brian, Aussie CHF and Aussie Yen really teaching me patience. I know, tell me about it. Holy One, yeah, hold that Euro trade. That's a massive buy. Well, good to have the Holy One confluence in the trade as well. But yeah, it's tick the boxes, and because I got Aussie CHF to break even, so I was going to get into 3 kind of full risk trades. So I was happy to take the third one. But yeah, we're going to see how this one goes, and a big part to play will be DXY. If DXY does take a bit of a dive, that will help Euro move along. I do think we can come back and retest some structure around here, which is around 101, 102 for the DXY, which should get dollar Euro USD going as well. And then we'll see what we do. We may hold it as support and push back up. We may break through, but I am looking for something like that on the dollar. And of course, at least looking for Euro to push up, at least come back, test some structure on the left there. So yeah, we'll see how that Euro USD position gets going. But yeah, you're definitely correct with that one, Brian. Aussie CHF definitely teaching some patience. Aussie Yen, that one's moving sideways as well, isn't it? Has this one broke out the channel yet? No, it hasn't. Still kind of just trading side of it. I said yesterday on the Discord group, if we can get a break of the channel, so price can break out of that, that's when I do think we will see some nice momentum. Hasn't happened yet. Aussie CHF kind of just doing a little bit of both, really. Yeah, that's just sideways, really. But yeah, with myself with CHF, yeah, there's no risk on the table, so I'm not really too concerned. Of course, I want it to drop to the downside for the trade, but worst case scenario, we do push up and you get stopped out break even. Yeah, I can't complain there, but yeah, I am still looking for some downside, but we'll have to wait and see because right now it's just very sideways. Holy One, I'm actually got a big position on US 30 by at the minute. Okay. Going over to the world of indices, we'll take a look at US 30. Ottawa, okay, dollar CAD, we'll have a look see as well. Pavinator, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Still short for Aussie dollar, entry at 0.627, 0.67270. Okay, we'll go through that in a moment as well. How do I want that euros in my alerts that can go up for over a week? I'm just waiting for the high prices and the pullback. Okay, but yes, hold on to that. Okay, so the euros in the alert tab as well. Well, hopefully you can join in soon as well. But yeah, we'll take a look at US 30. You said you're in a long position for that one. So yeah, with US 30, the market has been slowly grinding higher. And it looks like it tried to break out the consolidation. Was that yesterday or Wednesday? That was 2 days ago. So we did see some nice momentum apart to break out of that. I wouldn't say we're out the woods yet with US 30 because we're kind of dealing with that wick there. But again, if the trend is going to continue with this one, then it's onwards and upwards really with US 30. But of course, that wick there's causing some friction. Where do you have your stops, Holy One? Is it below the wicks here, or is it below there somewhere? Because I know you're looking at more of an intraday position, so I would imagine your targets would be either the high here or the wick high there. As an awful drawing, but you guys know what I mean. But yeah, if the market's going to continue that trend, then we do have that possibility of pushing back to those highs. There's a bit of friction which price is dancing in right now. But if you're looking for a push back to the high there or the high there, it's pretty reasonable. We might find some resistance to come back down, but if you're not looking for anything crazy, if you're keeping it intraday, it makes sense. If you're looking for a swing trade and a lot more momentum, then of course it'd be crucial of us breaking through that area. So that will be like a make or break for the position. Because if the market does break through that, then we can see a lot more upside. If it starts to stall there, then that's where it becomes a little bit awkward for the buys. So I reckon 42,600 would be very, very pivotal price for US 30. We'll go through dollar CAD as well. Take a look at that Aussie dollar position, Pavinator. When I say big position, I mean £5. A lot size that's big for me. Well, again, for everyone, they'll have their big and their small. It depends, what account you're trading with, because everything's relative to the account as well. Aussie Jeff Fresh, Water block sitting 0.5853. Watch out that break even. Okay, I'll take a look at that. Against mental stop loss, but my target's 42,699. Okay, so you're looking at basically 42,700, which is around there. So yeah, it's doable, but of course we do have some resistance in our way. So if we can break through that, then of course we'll see. I mean, it's pretty much just above the high there. But yeah, I would say 42.6, 42.580 is definitely an interesting point for US 30 because if we break through, then I think we'll probably go a lot further than 42.700, to be honest. But if we start stalling there, it might push us back down again. But overall, the trend is very much on your side there with US 30. Consistent higher highs and higher lows. So if we're going to continue that, then high prices is likely to come. Nasdaq futures, okay. 5 in 1 minute, wow. Let me take a look at dollar CAD for Ottawa before I forget. So let me know what you're looking at for dollar CAD. So yeah, dollar CAD, crazy momentum over the past couple of days, 3 days, breaking this high. So yeah, I'm actually very bullish on dollar CAD, which is ironic because I'm kind of looking at some downside for USD, but it might not last for very long. It might just be a correction. But in terms of the longer term move for dollar CAD, because it's been such a commanding move to the upside, breaking past this point here and past this level here as well, that to me is a clear sign that dollar CAD isn't probably going to reverse and do the move I was originally expecting, which is a move back down to these lows here. Now that we're commanding, with that momentum and breaking through such a big level, it looks to me that dollar CAD is likely to come back and retest the highs closer to 1.39. So if dollar CAD was kind enough to come back and retest this area here, I think that's a solid place for a pullback and a solid place to get back into some long-term swings and see if we can ride it for that journey. So with dollar CAD, we may be coming back to some areas where some sellers will be looking to get involved in the market. So if you're looking for opportunities now, I think sells are the best bet. But it's of course a little bit aggressive since the market is still very bullish. There's a lot of momentum in the market right now. I mean, this is one of the smoothest moves I've seen in a long time, especially from dollar CAD as well. So there's a lot of momentum right now. Looking to try and call the top on that is of course going to be very difficult. And not really a move that I would look to do, but I would expect us to go through a correction at some point, and a retest of 1.365, 1.36 looks really good to me. So if dollar CAD was to get back down there, I think that's a nice place for a buy, and then looking for that push back into the highs up there, 1.39. In the meantime, there could be some sells down. It's just difficult to call because, again, we might not necessarily retrace. We might just keep pushing. Who's to say we have to get that retest and have to retrace? We don't have to. But if it does do that, then the buys do line up for a really nice swing trade, and that does really interest me for dollar CAD. So yeah, that's kind of what I'll be looking for. But in the meantime, there could be some shorts beforehand as we approach the highs over here. Very aggressive, but I wouldn't be looking to buy dollar CAD now. It's just been way too bullish. It's quite stretched. I need price to pull back. So this is what I'll be looking for to get into buys. And yeah, retest that high and looking for entries in that area. But I do like dollar CAD. There's a lot of momentum in it. And it looks like we're just going to push back into the highs now. So just waiting for that pullback, really. I think CAD has been pretty weak. CAD gained some strength yesterday because of oil, I'm pretty sure. It did push up a little bit wishy-washy. But yeah, dollar CAD, very bullish. Pavinator, we'll look at that Aussie dollar position that you mentioned. You said you're short on Aussie dollar entry at 0.67. 67270, 270. That's roughly around there. Stop loss 69510. Oh wow, is that a typo? 69510. That's got to be a typo. Stop loss is somewhere around there, and your target. I mean, your target will tell me if it's a typo or not. 67. 3 6s 80. 3 6s. So your target is there, and your entry is there, and your stop loss is there. Surely got to be a typo. Or am I reading it the wrong way? Is that your buy? Is that your stop loss? And that's your target? Let me know. Oh no, heaps of space. Yeah, that's more than a heap. That's a bucket load of space. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the risk reward, to be honest, in terms of the risk reward, I'm not a big fan of it because I'm always a fan of positive risk reward, even if it is just like 1.5 R to if you're going to risk $100, you're making 150. Even if it's just slightly a little bit more, I'm always a big fan of positive risk rewards because in the long run, it would do more good than harm for you. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of having such a huge stop loss and a very small target, just because in the long run, because there will be times where your stop loss will be hit, and then you're going to have to make 6, 7 winners to make up to make up the loss, and then you're going to have a really high win rate just to stay profitable. So I'm not a big fan of that. In terms of the technicals, I mean, I see where your stop loss is, because it's above the high, so it makes a lot of sense. If you're looking for downside, stop loss above major structure, great place to put it. But if I'm going to have a stop loss up here, my entry needs to be somewhere around that area. Even if it's a little bit wider, that's fine, but it needs to be a little bit closer, so it makes a bit more sense. In terms of the target, I mean, the target's pretty reasonable. You're not looking for anything crazy with the target. If the market is going to see more downside, then we're likely going to take your take profit anyway. But it's just because there will be cases where price just does that, and then you have to find a lot of winners to make up for that loss. So the risk to reward, I'm not a big fan of that. Even if it's just a 1-to-1 as well. 1-to-1s can be very effective with a higher win rate, of course. But when it starts becoming negative, you're putting yourself in a bit of a tough spot, especially when you go through some losses. Then it's going to take a lot of energy to get back out of that. So in terms of the analysis, I mean, I think the trade looks good, but where I would have my stop loss, let me put them back in. So if I'm going to target where you're targeting down there, 0.66, I think you stop 3 6s. Okay, your target's around there somewhere. So you're looking to target the low. So if I'm going to target there and my entry is there, my stop loss would be either above this high or this high there. Because I know that means I'm likely to get stopped out, more likely to get stopped out, but at least the risk reward is positive. And if it does stop me out, I can always re-enter higher if I'm still believing that same bias and still get a similar size stop loss. So if I do succeed with that move, I'm making a lot more money than if I was to lose. So I would say have a stop loss above the high here or above the high there. It makes a bit more sense there. So yeah, in terms of the move you're looking for, I think it makes sense. Coming back to test kilos here, but stop loss wise, I think it needs adjusting. Yeah, if Pavinator, if you're concerned about the bullish momentum and it might go up, then that means you shouldn't be looking to take the trade. Then you shouldn't be take the trade, because effectively it comes back down to the patience. Because if you're looking for a move there, but you're kind of worried about that move up there, then what you should be looking for is waiting to see if that move does happen, and then finding your entries up here, and then you can find a stop loss up there and look for that same move. Because if you're going to enter here and have a stop loss there, then you're just wasting time really, and having pips too. I can see what you're trying to do, because you're just trying to make sure you give your trade the best chance of succeeding. But in the long run, I don't think it will make too much sense. So if you are worried about that bullish move, wait for it to happen if it does happen, and then look for your entries up there, for stop loss up there. That would make a lot more sense. No problem, man. No problem. I mean, we all make we all do stupid things. You're not the only person to make a mistake, or I've done stuff like that many times before in the start. But yeah, going forward, try and keep the risk reward at least proportional, so at least a 1-to-1 or above. And if you are worried about a bullish move, wait for that bullish move to happen, and then look for your entries up there. And it may or may not happen, but if it does, then you can make a sensible entry and a stop loss above the high. Dollar yen. Okay, we'll take a look at dollar yen as well. I'll take a look at that Aussie Seat Chef order block I think you mentioned. But yeah, in terms of dollar yen, so dollar yen, I'm still looking for a big move down for this one. Still another yen pair, which I'm still pretty bearish on. If price can hold this level here, 149, looking for some downside, or 152, which is up here as well. So those are the two areas which I'm expecting some downside from dollar yen. So with yesterday's price action, we did see a nice rejection, but momentum didn't really kick in, because I'm expecting with the yen pairs, when the sells do really come, that the market will go for a really big move, and the momentum will be hard to miss. So the fact that the market's still corrective, we'll see what happens, but I'm looking to see if we can come back into that area and reject it and see some downside. If it does break, then I'm looking for 152 for the push back down. So yeah, in terms of dollar yen, this is still the place I'm expecting us to push into. It's kind of like a really big head and shoulder pattern on the daily stroke weekly chart. So something like that is what I'm looking for, either from this high or that high. And yeah, what I want to be seeing for dollar yen is some really strong rejection at this level, because it looks like we're coming back for another retest. Let's see if we can put some wicks into it, some rejection, shift momentum, and then look for some entries off the back of that. If we decide to break through, then I'll be looking for the same thing, but all the way up at 152, and then looking for the down move. But those are the two areas which look good for shorts. If we do go and break through, then there could be some buys in the meantime, taking it back up to 152. But from a seller's perspective, especially from a swing, these are the levels which look good to take some shorts from. So yeah, waiting to see how we react there the second time. If things look good, could see nice shorts maybe this afternoon. If not, maybe early next week. And if we do get the breakout, then we might see some upside back here, and then we can discuss the shorts again sometime next week. But yeah, I'm still pretty bearish on dollar yen. Still pretty bearish. So you mentioned with Aussie Chef. Again, with Aussie Chef, you know, my break even is simply there because of my entry. It's not there because of any technical any technical aspects. It's there because that's why I've entered. So with my stop loss being at break even, I'll remove risk, and that's the key. That's the key element. Now it's up to Aussie Chef if it wants to keep falling and go and hit my my targets, or if it wants to push up against me. It may push up against me, tag an area, and then drop. You know, that's just the reality of using break evens. Sometimes price does tag you out the trade and then move in a direction. You know, people kind of have that that conversation whether break even is the best way to trade. I think in terms of break evens, it doesn't maximize your upside potential. If you're looking to maximize your upside in your trading, break evens is probably not the best way to go. But if you want to minimize the downside and smoothing out the equity curve, break evens do help, because once trades have gone for you, it stops those trades being a losers potentially. So break evens are good in terms of managing the risk, but they're not the best in terms of managing the upside, or in terms of increasing the upside, or making the most out of it. So I'm well aware that possibly price may take me out and then move. That's something I've already taken into consideration. But with the drop we had on Monday, if price is going to start reversing back up there again, then I don't really want to be back in the position. In fact, if you push up there again, then I'm actually going to be looking for some re-entries on the level, and then look to get back involved with another entry above the high, rather than just keep sitting in that same position. But we'll see with Aussie Chef. I've done my bit. Now it's up to the market to see what it wants to do. Worst case scenario, we take the break even. Best case, we might see some downside, but that'll be up to Aussie Chef. Brian, how does gold look? Okay, for short term sell. Okay, we'll go through gold as well. UJM alerts when it comes down below H450. I'll start looking for big buys. Wait, if it goes below H450, I thought you normally look to sell below H450. Or are you waiting for it to retrace and then go back above for a buy? Nazar, okay, Euro USD will take a look as well. Pedro, appreciate that. Let me just put that in the big screen. As Pedro mentioned, don't forget to like people. If you guys are enjoying the stream, find it useful, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out, of course, and make sure you do hit the bell too, so you don't miss out on any uploads or streams in the future. But I appreciate that, Pedro. So yeah, in terms of Euro USD. So I'm currently long on Euro, which I just literally entered about half an hour ago on that 4-hour candle closure. Came back to a nice area of confluence, and I'm looking for that third high low. We've got one over there, second over there, third over there. I'm looking at the fourth in that area, coming back to retest this prior high. This is the setup I was discussing on the weekend in my weekly analysis. If Euro push to one of these two levels, I'll be happy to take some longs. Of course, if I do get a valid entry for it, which I did get this morning. So I'm in some Euro USD buys. In theory, it's a bit of a hedge of the position. It's a bit of a hedge because buying Euro USD is a bit of a hedge for selling Aussie CHF and selling pound yen. Because as I've mentioned a few times on the stream, USD typically moves in the same direction as yen and CHF. The correlation isn't 100%, but on average, USD and yen and CHF move in the same direction. So me buying Euro USD and basically selling USD is kind of a hedge for pound yen and Aussie CHF. So if those two positions were to go higher, then Euro should go high as well with it on paper, but we'll see. But in terms of the trade alone, just focusing on the technicals and my plan with the trade, it fits the plan. So it being a hedge as well is a bit more of a coincidence. But yeah, we're going to see how this one pans out. But in terms of the analysis, again, I'm looking for that next high low for the with Euro CHF. Long term, I do think there's a lot more upside to be had. I do think eventually we're going to come and take out that wick high. And in my book, the market's just had a nice push. It's pulled back to what happened there? It's pulled back to a decent degree. So now I'm looking for that high low there, and hopefully we can find it and use it as support. I'm pretty sure we've come back into, if I draw the fib from the high to the low, we've come back into the 0.618. If I draw it from the low down here, we've just about come into the 50 as well. So it's tagged some nice areas of confidence for me and gave me a nice entry signal this morning. So looking to see if we can get a bit of this going on for Euro. And then I'll be looking to trail behind as we push along. And then stop loss here. If I do get tagged out of the trades, I'll reanalyze. Maybe Euros just wanting to have a bigger push down. Of course, DXY will play a big role in that too. So I'll keep one eye on the dollar. But yeah, that's kind of the logic behind the trade. So we'll see how that one gets going. From weekly analysis. Oh, okay. So you wanted to go for a big drop first before you look for a buy. Okay. Trade in one direction, only drop first, then buy. Okay, it makes sense. So you're not going to look to sell to buy it later. You're just going to focus on that bias and trade the bias. That's the same with me, pretty much. Same with me as well. I'll use the high time frames for a bias, and then I would ignore everything in the opposite direction, pretty much, and just stick with that direction. So yeah, I get you on the same page. Nazar, okay, pound USD, we'll take a look. So yeah, pound USD also came back into a nice area. Euro and pound both set up at the same time for me. I was looking at both of them, but Euro's got a bit more risk reward to it. So that's why I jumped into Euro. And also another reason why I jumped into Euro is because I'm actually selling pound yen. So I'm technically selling pound. So I don't want to be looking to buy pound USD and sell pound yen at the same time. It's a bit of a hedge as well, but I didn't want it to be directly correlated. So Euro made a bit more sense. But effectively, again, Euro and pound, they're very similar markets. So they do the same thing. But again, pound USD, I was talking about this level here coming to the week, solid resistance, support there. Really important swing low because it gave us our swing high there. So for me, for pound USD, I said I'm still bullish on pound as long as we stay above the swing low here, and which so far we are doing. I really like the daily wick there yesterday as well. So I am expecting to see a push to the upside for pound. Now, it may not get us all the way back to the high up there. It may get us to somewhere around here. We may put on that right shoulder, left head, right shoulder, and then we might get reversal. That could be the play pound USD goes through, or maybe the trend does continually push to the high and everything looks wonderful. We'll have to see. But in terms of a solid place for a buy, this area does look good. And another thing I like about pound is how corrective we are in this decline, because we had such a big drop. I can't remember what this was from. We had such a big drop last week. Price was looking really, really bearish. But since then, that momentum has kind of fizzled out. And we've just been slowly, correctively moving down. So I like our price being moving, because technically when we're in these kind of descending channels, more often than not, they tend to break to the upside and with some nice momentum too. So in terms of where we're trading, in terms of how we're trading there, in terms of how we're setting up, I think pound USD looks like a good buy equally as euro. It's just I picked euro because of pound being there as well. And I think the risk reward's a little bit bigger as well. So I went into euro instead, but I could have easily taken pound USD there too. I think it's a really nice setup, and I do see us breaking higher. And yeah, 1.32, I think that's a solid target coming back into this area here. And then if all things go really well, then maybe we push all the way back to the high at 1.343. But either way, pound USD's got a lot of room to the upside should it want to continue. But again, trend is still very much at play. Yeah, I like pound USD. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with pound USD. Okay, we'll take a look at pound yen. Naz, you only have to say it once, my man, or my woman, but I'm pretty sure it's a man. Yeah, if you are wanting me to take a look at a pair, you just have to drop it once. I can read the chat. But yeah, for pound yen. So again, that's the reason why I didn't take pound USD, because I'm still selling pound yen. This one is still has me in the trade. It's torturing me. Hasn't either taken me out of the trade and put me out my misery, or bled in my favor yet. So we're just going to see how this one goes. I was talking a lot about this ascending channel yesterday. I said if we can get the break to the downside, there could be a chance that we do see that momentum kick in. We did kind of break, but it was very half-hearted in terms of the candlesticks. They weren't very big or anything. Nothing like this. Breaking below that would have been nice. But the market is still kind of stale. So from an intraday level, it looks like pound yen is still putting in these high lows and slowly pushing up. So at this point, it looks like it's probably going to come back into resistance. So back into the highs up there. So from an intraday move, intraday trade, something like that makes a lot of sense. Whether this holds and comes back down or we break through, that's a different question. But from an intraday level, since we're still respecting those higher lows, something like that looks pretty likely to me for pound yen. So again, you probably already want to be in the buys, to be honest. Now that price is already pushing on. But yeah, I'm still bearish long term for this one, still looking for the move down. But of course, I'll hold into the trade, let the market do what it needs to do. I took the trades over here, stop loss above the high. I'm just going to respect that, let price do what it needs to do. If it does hit the stop loss, we'll take the SL, move on. I'll reanalyze, because I've been very bearish on pound yen. So if we do break the high, maybe I'm looking to change that bias. I'll investigate with all the yen pairs. It won't just be with pound yen, but we'll have to wait and see. But speaking in terms of the yen pairs, I'm still looking for that move down, but we need to see that momentum come back into play. Like Aussie yen, it's on the cusp of a really nice move down, but it needs to break out this channel, and it needs to see a nice strong close as well. If not, we might kind of slowly just push up, which would be a bit boring. But if we can get a strong break, then I do see a lot of downside. Dollar yen trading in some nice areas where, again, we can have some big sells. New Zealand yen, this one had a nice rejection off that high, but unfortunately, we haven't really seen much progression since then. So again, if I whip out the old the consolidation, if we can break through that floor, then I'm anticipating a lot more downside. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. New Zealand yen. Euro yen, I'm still actually waiting for price to push a little bit higher back into this point here. Then I'll talk about some shorts, but looking for some downside. And then CAD yen did pretty well yesterday, actually, because it's remaining below the high here. So I do think we can sell off as long as we stay below 109. Start breaking back above that, I have to rethink things. But for now, this is still in bearish territory for me, so I'll still be pretty bearish. What's up, Will? Welcome back. Hope you're doing good. FX Wolf, you long your USD. What about pound? Yeah, I'm not going to look to long pound USD as well. I know they do much the same thing, but with euro, the trade's either going to play out or fail, and it will do the exact same with pound. So I just need to pick the better one and trade that market. So I'm long euro USD, but I'm not going to get into pound. But in terms of my bias, if that's what you're asking for, yeah, I'm pretty bullish on pound as well. I think it looks really good too. I think it looks equally as good as euro, to be honest. I like how price is moving. Had a really big drop, but it fizzled out and became very corrective. So I do think pound is going to eventually break out this descending channel and really let fly. And we came back into a really healthy level of support on the daily chart, which is a really important level as well, because it was our swing low, which gave us that swing high there as well. So as long as price can hold this level at 1.306, 305, I anticipate a lot more upside there for pounds, really. So yeah, I think pound looks good in terms of the buyers. I'm not going to take it though, because I am in euro, and they pretty much do the same thing. Of course, they will have different strengths and weaknesses, but if euro is going to push up or push down, so will pound. So there's no need for me to take both, but I'm bullish on it. I am bullish. Use 30 trade. Okay, looking at the page 4 wick on the left. Okay, so you're looking at the all-time high. You're looking at this area here. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Again, if we can push to the wick, I think, probably see some new highs past that, because momentum is still strong, but we are finding some resistance there, so that's why it's a bit awkward. But yeah, I like the momentum from Wednesday, sorry. It looks like we could be forming a bit of like a flag correction of that. So yeah, if we can break above that, then you should be in business. But we have a bit of USD news today. So I'm going to keep an eye on that, because now I'm actually in a USD trade. So you got CAD unemployment rate today. If anyone's trading any CAD pairs, do look out for that. Rates are expected to increase, so unemployment is supposed to go up, which is not good for CAD. But of course, the number could be different. But that's just the expectation. And then we got PPI for USD at 130, and that's supposed to drop. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. We've got Michigan consumer sentiment in the afternoon, later in the afternoon at 3 o'clock UK time. We'll see how much of effect that has on the market, but I think the PPI is the main focus there. But then again, PPI is not really a big event for me. It can move the market a bit, but the big three is CPI, NFP, and Fed interest rate. So those are the ones I definitely keep a lookout for. Other ones, I'll keep an eye on them. But again, because I'm trading with wider stop losses, bigger targets, and normally I have enough room to deal with them. I got into 2 trades that were similar. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it doesn't make any sense from a risk standpoint, and you might as well just double the risk on one trade, which is always my thought process. If I want to take euro and take pound, I might as well just double the risk on euro or double the risk on pound, because it's the same trade. Why should I look to manage both of them? I can just focus on one. And then, of course, on the flip side, when they do play out, they both play out. Then again, you're even doubling the risk or doubling the profit. So there's no need to do that unless you want to. So yeah, I always pick, because the way I group my markets as well is by is by correlation. So I've got the yen up here, I've got USD there, I've got CAD there, some of the crosses, CHF there as well. So in theory, what my plan is to do really is have a trade in each of those baskets. Not all the time, but if I'm looking for a trade, like I'm going to have a CHF trade, a cross trade, a CAD trade, a USD trade, a yen trade. So that's kind of my thought process. So if I've got a trade ready in the USD group, then unless that original trade is break even, there's no need for me to jump into another USD position. Same with the yen and same with every other group that I have. There's no need for me to get involved. And this is just some extra stuff which I don't trade at the moment. But I do keep an eye on like Bitcoin, the dollar, and some of the indices and oil. So yeah, that's how I look at it. Exposed in CAD, if they come the way the market has priced in the high, it's going to benefit my position. Okay, which CAD pair are you trading? Oh, you're trading Aussie CAD, isn't it? I remember you said you were looking to short Aussie CAD yesterday. What did Aussie CAD do? Okay, still looking pretty bullish, but it has come back into a nice area for a short though. Pretty much that head and shoulder area. There's your left shoulder, there's your head, and possibly your right shoulder off a nice little break of structure. Could see a little bit of that. I like how price is moving as well. Looking very corrected, but momentum is dropping. So yeah, I do think we can see a bit of a drop there for Aussie CAD. How far it will go, that's a different question. Will it get all the way back to the low? Possibly. It might just be a correction for price to continue going higher. But a drop does look likely. I think back to 0.922 looks good. Possibly back to 0.916. I'm not sure what your target is, but I know you're a bit more on the intraday scale anyway. But yeah, I like where Aussie CAD is trading. But yeah, the news will impact that a bit because an employment rate does have a bit of movement in the market. But again, the way I see it is really difficult to avoid news completely. Maybe if you're on an intraday time frame, like you're trading like the 5 minute, then you can really work your way around it. But if you trade like on the hourly chart and above, it's very difficult to avoid every single news event because there's always one the next day, and you have to close the trade, reopen the trade. You might reopen at a worse price, and might not make sense to reopen as well. So you're gonna have to sit through some trades, some news events. Of course, the big ones like NFP, Fed, and CPI, you can sit those ones out. But PPI and employment rate, although they can affect the market too, but it's going to be very difficult to avoid everything. But if you're like on the intraday scalping side of things, looking for entries on like the 15-minute and below, then maybe you can get around it. But then again, news is a part of the market as well. News can really be very, very, very beneficial at the same time as well. Okay, looking for buys on Aussie CAD. It's a 1 week holder. Okay, so it's a bit more of a swing trade for this one. Okay, looking to drop all the way to the low, but we'll be aggressive with managing it because going against the trend in the daily. Yeah, you have to take that into consideration as well. Again, when you are looking to set your targets and taking your trades, whether you're with the higher time frames or against the higher time frames, does play a big role in terms of how far price does move in your favor. If you're with the higher time frames, then you can always be a bit more aggressive with your targets. If you're against the higher time frames, then it might make a bit more sense to be a bit more conservative, or just have something in terms of management. So if it's in your plan to, let's say, target lows like that swing low there, that's completely fine. But because you're able enough to recognize that, okay, maybe momentum is against me in the higher time frames, maybe I'm going to be a bit more aggressive with my partials on the way down. So if price does kick in bullish again at some point and the higher time frames take control, it's not like you were floating some decent profit. Now that's all gone. You have secured some profit along the way. or trail a stop loss or something. So there's nothing per se wrong about targeting that low. Because if it does get there, it would be a great trade, I'm sure of it. Everything's probability at the end of the day. The high time frames do fail and they do reverse as well. So it's not that we can't get there, but if the probability is not in your favor that we do, you want to have some precautions in place. So maybe taking a bit more partials or trading stop loss a bit more aggressively, something like that to make sure you lock in some gains or pay yourself along the way. Because if the higher time frames step in, then yeah, we're just going to keep pushing. So there's nothing wrong going counter trend. Sometimes I do counter trend as well, but I'm always going to be a little bit, I'm always going to be less aggressive with my management. I mean, more aggressive with my management, but less aggressive with my targets. But yeah, no one knows what's going to happen with the market. All you can do is just take the information the market's giving you, weigh it up, and then make some decisions based on that. Favor, gold, what's your analysis? I was supposed to look at gold earlier, wasn't I? Poor. So yeah, okay. I didn't see that with gold. I wasn't really keeping an eye on it, to be honest. Yeah, yesterday I was talking about some shorts around here, but it looks like we've actually broken through that. I mean, not that we can't still sell off because it looks like it's testing some areas slightly above us, just as we come into that high there. So that is still a nice place for a short. But would I be as confident that gold's going to roll over to the low here? Probably not, because it does look like we're kind of just really moving in this descending channel here pretty well. So I actually like the breakouts with gold. If gold can get a breakout there, I think that'll be the kickstart of a really nice bullish phase, back to the high and maybe beyond as well. We've still got 2,700 just above us over there as well. So that could be a nice level to attract price. So I like the buys on the breakout of that. The sells look good as well, but I wouldn't be so optimistic that we're going to get a push because yesterday I was expecting us to make this move here. I said a retest of the low there and then possibly a sell back to there, and then we can look for some buys. But because it was such a big push, I think we can see some downside. But I think as we start approaching some of these areas, I would be looking to lock in some games. I mean, there's nothing wrong for, again, looking to target down here, but like I said with Aussie CAD, maybe looking to take some partials or trade a stop, something to lock in some gains could be a smart call because gold can just kick in bullish at any point because we all know that the higher time frames are still relatively very bullish. So we have to be careful if we are taking shorts in these conditions. But in terms of location, I think it looks good. It's coming back into the top end of that channel and back into that area of supply, resistance there as well. So I think the shorts look good, but I wouldn't look for a home run here. I wouldn't look for a home run here with gold. And if it does decide it wants to break higher and gets the retest here, then I think that's a solid place for a buy. And yeah, gold can probably push back to the high end, and 2,700 is not far away either. Yeah, I didn't see that with gold yesterday actually. I mean, I know it was bullish a little after CPI, but I haven't checked it since then. But yeah, interesting stuff from gold. This just still looks like a big retracement to me. So, especially because of the momentum we had in the push there as well. It was still seeing force with the buys. If it was like a sluggish push up, then maybe I'll be a bit more confident with the sells. But I think we'll get the breakout at some point, and when we do, pullbacks, retests look good. Yeah, that's very true. Actually, that's very, very true. A lot of people are guilty of that, even myself sometimes as well. That you just focus on the technicals and old school trading pit. Those numbers are crucial. Yeah, you kind of forget the numbers on the right, to be honest, because effectively, what we're doing as traders, we're looking to buy at areas of value and sell at areas of value or prices of value. If something is overvalued, you're looking to sell it. If something is undervalued, you're looking to buy, and that's basically the principles of trading. If something's undervalued, you're looking to buy that and wait for it to gain value and sell. And that's effectively what we're doing with the market. But of course, it's very easy to get lost in the source and focus on the candlesticks and technicals and trend lines, support resistance, and every other thing you can think of as well. But effectively, we're trying to buy where the buyers are buying, sell where the sellers are selling, where there's value at the end of the day. That's a very good point, because you don't really think of that really when you're focusing on the technicals so much. I can't look at a number and tell you to buy. Just don't have the knowledge. We need the candlestick and fibs to get an entry. Yeah, very, very true. Very, very true. It's not like, you can tell me, okay, pound Aussie is trading at 1.26, and you're like, yeah, that's a great place for a buy. You're expecting upside from there. That's a really nice price to buy pound against the Aussie. So yeah, I wouldn't know either, to be fair. I mean, I know roughly where some big levels are on the USD markets, but in terms of if someone was to give me a price where I look to buy or sell, I need some support and resistance. I need some fibs. I need some market structure to tell me what I'm doing. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but of course, you obviously want to understand price as well, because effectively that's what we're trading. We're analyzing price, so understanding price as well can only do you more harm. Can only do more good than harm. So there's nothing wrong with having that deep understanding of technicals, but fundamentally, you want to understand price too. So that's a really good point, to be honest. It's a really good point, because you kind of forget about the numbers on the right. They're just like points of reference rather than actual price points. That is definitely a good call there. If I have missed out a pair, let me know. Because I did miss out gold ages ago, and I think I missed out someone else's pair too. If that's the case, let me know. But I'm gonna go through some of the crosses and take a look at them. D Forex Trader, what's up? Dollar CHF, Euro Pound. Oh, okay. Well, some of the crosses there as well. So we'll take a look at them. First, I'll go through dollar CHF and Aussie, and then we'll go through some crosses. So in terms of dollar CHF, we did see some nice upside yesterday. We did see some nice upside back into the high, and then price respected it and came down. Wait, was that yesterday or was that the day before? No, that was Wednesday. Yesterday was a bit of downside. But yeah, with dollar CHF, it's interesting because we've had a really big bounce off the low here. I do think there's a bit more upside in the tank for dollar CHF, back to some areas up there. This is what gave us that massive lower high, and then we saw a big drop from that. So I'm kind of looking at us pushing back into that same area. And then maybe we do have another sell-off. We can discuss that at a later date. But at the moment for USD-CHF, I do like the upside on this one. I think the boat is kind of sailed though, because we had a nice retest over here at the start of the week on Monday. Yeah. And since then, that was really the point of call. That was the place to look for some entries, stop loss underneath the level. That was very, very textbook. I did say possibly a retest on top of here could look good, but we never got the breakout. So I'd say unless we come back down again for another test, or we finally get the break of that, I'm not really seeing any good setups for longs. And of course, if we break back inside the range, I'll leave dollar CHF alone. At that point, we're probably coming back to the low anyway. So yeah, with dollar CHF, I would be bullish. I do expect us to see if we can push into 0.87 back into the high over there. And then we can analyze and see where we could go next. But for now, I do think that's where we're likely to push into. So in terms of opportunities to trade that, either looking at the high there or preferably another retest of that low, stop loss below, and then looking for the swing. But maybe the ship is sailed. We'll have to wait and see. But those are the only two opportunities that make sense to me on dollar CHF and the long side of things. In terms of Aussie yen, I'm very bearish on this one, but we need to see the break of the ascending channel. The market has been hugging into this for a while. I'm looking for us to break the low and then start the trend, because what I'm looking at on the higher time frames is a big push down. I'm looking at this as a correction of that, and I'm looking at a big move to the downside at some point. But the catalyst for that I'm looking at is the break of this trend line, the break of that channel. I think if we can get a solid break of that, that will kickstart everything, and we'll start seeing some nice momentum, possibly a nice push into the low here at 94. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for Aussie yen. Yeah, if we kind of stay inside that channel, then we might just sluggishly push up. But the funny thing is, because we're moving in that channel, even if we do have another push up, I do still expect us to bleed to the downside at some point, because this is not really sustainable price action. It's not like we're flying to the upside and we're seeing some really healthy trends here. It's very, very corrective. So I do think that will be the bigger move. It's just waiting for it to kind of get started and get going. And if you can get a solid break, we can look for some retest somewhere and find some entries to take it down. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Aussie yen. Looking for a big move down, and dollar CHF still looking at a bit more upside. In terms of some of the crosses, so I'll go through Euro NZD, Euro Aussie, all those. So these guys, again, I'm not really a big fan of them at the moment. I do like them from time to time, but if you look at Euro NZD now, what are we doing here? What are we doing? What is this price action? Where are we going? Longer term, I'm pretty bearish. I do think we can break lower, but until we see the breakout, I'm not gonna look more into that, because the breakout is essential. And at the moment, we're comfortably inside the range, so I don't really see much opportunities here with Euro NZD and the other pairs, which we'll get into in a moment. If I had to look to trade them, then I'll be looking to try and catch some highs here, retest the high there, probably a nice dip there. I wouldn't look for the full swing, but at least the reaction makes sense. So if we're back at the high again, that can make some sense. So of course, back at the low, but really it's just a really rangy, choppy market. I'm not a big fan. I can't really get a good read in the market anyway. So I would stay away. In terms of Euro Aussie, the pair you looked at, this one looks marginally better, but at the same time, it's still a big range there as well. So I'm not a big fan of the price. It did have a nice bounce off the low, which really nice place to buy since we had such a big reaction last time. So that's great, but what's the next move? Again, long term, I am bearish, and I do think they're coming down, but until we see some trends forming and some breaks of key lows, I'm not going to be looking for opportunities just yet. It does look like price is holding to that level pretty well. That could send us down, but would I want to sell from there? Probably not. Probably not. It's the middle of nowhere a little bit. I think if we can get another push back to the high, then maybe you can look for some type of double top there. At least you can get a safer stop loss above the high, and then look for a drop back to the low. But yeah, I'm just not a fan of the conditions. They look very, very choppy. Can't get a good read. Same with pound Aussie as well. Maybe a slight uptrend there. So it looks marginally better, but still not really seeing an opportunity to trade it. So yeah, that's kind of my summary. And of course, I'll take a look at Euro Pound, which is another pair you requested. So Euro Pound looks like it's just about holding onto that low. I still do think Euro Pound can make a move back to this area here. And now that we're holding onto that level, I think we can get the drop. Maybe an entry, something like that could look good. Because it looks like the first trade is kind of already sold away. So something like that could look good maybe next week. But then again, Euro Pound, not a fan favorite of this one either. Very, very choppy as of late, but because we're very consistent with the lower highs, as we can see, I'll still stay bearish. And I do think around 0.83, we can go for a big reversal as we approach that low. So I'd watch out for that. But yeah, for now, I still think a little bit more downside, and then we might go through a big move. But again, Euro Pound, hectic price action, wouldn't want to touch that. Um, yeah, that's true. When you when you make money, someone loses money. Oh, 2 pips in profit, looking to break even, secure some partials. Make sure you don't leave it too late there, Tom. 2 pips, we've got a lot floating there. Morning, Afisi. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Afisi or is it Afisi? Afisi. Probably Afisi. Quick look at CAD Chef. Okay, we'll take a look. Really up 4 pips, but the broker snatched 2. Okay, where is CAD Chef? There we are. So yeah, let me know what you're looking at for CAD Chef. Again, not big fan favorite of this one. Not in general, but as of late, because it's just kind of, again, what are we doing here, CAD Chef? Where are we trying to go? High time frames, the direction is pretty clear. We've been falling to the downside for a long time. We have created this low here, and I'm wondering, is this the low that's going to give us the big push up, or are we still wanting to fall a little bit further before we do? I think for now, in terms of a swing, if you're looking to play it from a swing bias, I think shorts are still your best friend. In terms of the location for that, then I've got 2 areas which I like: the high here or the low there. Either way, we're not trading at those areas, so I wouldn't look to touch it. Right now, this is kind of a textbook range. Price is dancing all over the shop. I wouldn't want to get involved at all. I mean, if you're looking to buy low and sell high, then I can get around that. If you're just looking to play the range, and yeah, as price pushes down to the low, then looking to take a buy, looking to take a sell there. If that's your idea, then okay, it makes sense in these conditions, of course. But in terms of a trend, in terms of um, where the market is likely to head next. And these are the areas which I would like to look for entries. And again, it might not necessarily take me all the way down to the low, but it doesn't have to for it to be a good trade either. These are just the areas where I do think we can see some high time frame action and high time frame sellers jumping into the market at these critical swing points there as well, and see some nice shorts. How far it goes is a different question. We could see a completion of the trend back to the low, but I wouldn't bank on that because these are all-time lows, and I think at some point CAD will go for a big retracement. So I wouldn't bank on that, but I would still be bearish on the higher time frames. So it's just about where does it make sense to trade that bias? Where can I find entries which makes sense? And to me, 0.635 and 0.644 makes a lot of sense here. But in this area, I would stay away. I would stay away. I would be looking at those levels there because at least I'm away from the noise. I'm right at the top. And that gives me a bit more protection. But in here, it's a little bit messy. But if you are going to trade it, then yeah, I'm waiting for price to at least test the low here, or at least test the high before considering any entries. Trying to take any trades inside of here is a big no-no. So I'll stay away from that. But yeah, let me know what time frame you're looking at so I can be a bit more used, because I know some of you are looking at some big swing trades and some of you are looking at some intraday trades as well. So let me know what time frame you're looking at too. Oh, really? Watch Nick's breakdown of IC losing the Robins Cup. Yeah, I saw the video. I didn't watch it though. I haven't watched it yet, but I did see it in my feed. Thought that was an interesting video there from Nick. I didn't know you would cover that. But yeah, I haven't watched it. But Anis mentioned to us like last week or the week before what happened. But yeah, but it's quite ironic because ICT is probably the most popular trader on well, one of the most popular traders on social media. So it's funny. I mean, not funny, it's just weird that he's in that situation, but he's one of the biggest traders on in terms of social media following. So yeah, weird that that situation's come around. But hey, I'm just focused on myself and my channel. Really, I try to stay away from all the drama and all the noise because most of the time it just brings unwanted things, which I'm not interested in at all. So I try to stay away from all of that. How is Aussie Chef doing? Yeah, just sideways. Again, it's been a slow one to be honest. I don't know if the markets are a little bit slow this period, but I'm expecting more momentum as we finish the year. So like October, November, start of December, I think we'll see a lot of momentum. Of course, as we approach mid-December, momentum will start to come down a little bit as we approach the Christmas period and everyone is taking some time off. But yeah, October, November, we should still see a lot of momentum in the market. So I think we're getting ready for that. I think yen pair is going to make some big moves. USD pair is going to make some big moves. So I'm excited for that. But at the moment, we've kind of just got the calm before the storm, really. Nothing's really had much movement in the past month, I would say. It's been a little bit dry. But hopefully we'll see the markets pick up a little bit. Again, don't get me wrong, there has been some nice moves here and there, but nothing sustained, nothing like a nice forceful trend, which is kind of what I'm looking for. Glad that makes sense. Oh, wow. The account was forgot, so the account was manipulated and fake. Yeah, that's not a good look at all. That's not a good look at all. Because it doesn't even matter if you can trade well or not. That just doing something like that is just, no matter what's going on, whether you're the best trader ever to live or not, doing something like that is just, it makes you lose a lot of respect and credibility for the person. So yeah, and especially 3 million as well. So poor. But anyway, I'll go through some of the yen pairs because I haven't touched on all of them. Of course, I'm still holding them to the pound yen position, which, again, as we said, not looking too good, but we'll hold out for this one. I mean, oh, I didn't mean to do that. It's been 2 weeks today since I entered the position. I entered the position on Friday, 27th of September. So that was two weeks ago today. So it's just been messing around there. And again, that's some of the realities of trading on the 4-hour time frame, is that sometimes you have the trades that kind of just take a long time to get going, and even take a long time to fail as well. But again, I've made the judgment because I've got a lot of commitments outside of trading, which will take my time. So having trades that will play out a lot longer and go for bigger pips and bigger stop losses, it does help me in the long run. But I think at least intraday anyway, the yen pair still look pretty bullish to me. Oh, there should be a minus, but there wasn't. Oh, wait, so everything looked good, but it just forgot the minus. Damn. Because the thing is, you go through all that trouble. You go through all that trouble to create the document of you withdrawing the money, and then you forgot one little minus. Damn, 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 damn. But hey, like I said, I tried to stay away from that and comment on that because, again, it's drama and it's funny. I understand in terms of YouTube, it's entertainment, of course. But with my channel, I try to keep everything around trading, myself, and of course people on the channel as well, and keep the focus there. But I have to admit as well, it's quite funny too. It is quite funny, especially for getting like the minus on that and such a big withdrawal. But yeah, I mean, blowing the account as well. But then again, ICT is literally the most popular strategy online as well. So it's ironic. It's not like this guy is just a random geezer. He's very, very popular. But anyway, so yeah, in terms of the yen pairs, still looking for the reversals, but not seeing them at all. In terms of the USD pairs, definitely long euro, very bullish on pound, New Zealand dollar. Although I have been looking for buys since it did break structure yesterday or the day before, I'm not looking to do anything. Dollar CAD, I'm actually looking for some downside for a buy. Dollar CHF looking for upside, and Aussie dollar looking for upside as well, but we may come down first before the buy. And then gold is gold. And silver, not really interested in silver. Yeah, if gold can break the high, I'm expecting a lot of high prices. Someone mentioned yesterday you're opening up the mic in Discord or Telegram so people can chat. Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not, to be honest. Yeah, if everything is checks out, then yeah, I will do. So we can have some discussions on Discord. To be honest, I haven't actually looked into that feature yet, to be honest. So but yeah, I don't see why not. If so, I'll let you guys know. But I'll have a look into it. But yeah, I probably will get that open. Favor, you're selling gold, okay. 26.37. Stop loss at 26.55. Okay. Thanks for letting me know, Holy One. So you're looking at selling gold. So yeah, I like where gold is in terms of selling it. I think it's at a nice place. It's just I don't expect it to go as far as I did yesterday after this big bullish move. So you've got an entry 26.37. 26.37. That's pretty much here. Stop loss 26.55. So that's about there-ish. I'm liking that stop loss. And then target 25.28. 25.28. Okay, looking at a pretty big move. Oh, that's a really big move. That's around there roughly. So you're looking for us to come back into this area here. So, well, first of all, in terms of the risk reward, looks really good. I like it. You're probably looking at like a 1 to 6 there, maybe. So if it plays out, you're laughing. But will it play out? That's the big one. And taking some shorts to that degree in such a bullish market, not that it can't happen, it's just very, very optimistic because the market for gold is really, really bullish. And anyone looking for any long-term sales like that, pretty much the whole year, has definitely not found any success. If you're looking for intraday shorts or slightly longer, you might have had some really nice success, especially in this period. But because the momentum has been so high, looking for anything meaningful to the downside hasn't been rewarding, and that's simply because of the market being so bullish. So I don't mind the shorts in terms of your entry, in terms of the stop loss. I think it looks solid, but I wouldn't be looking to target those areas. At best somewhere around here or this area here, but I would be looking to take some gains around there or training a stop loss to be protective of that, because gold can really fly whenever it wants to. So yeah, I think the shorts are just a bit optimistic. Again, I'm just sharing my honest opinion, really. I think where you're shorting from in terms of the stop loss, I like the stop loss placement above the channel, above the high there as well. So you're giving yourself room to play with. So In terms of the entries, stop loss I like. Targets for me is just a bit far. And again, not to say we can't get there, it's just probability wise very, very low. So I would say have some type of management plan in terms of trading a stop or take some partials, something that secures some gains along the way. Because chances are price is going to kick in bullish at some point and probably move past your stop loss as well. So you want to kind of protect against that. So yeah, I don't mind the trade. I just think the target's just a little bit optimistic. But of course, if you've got something in your plan and you're following, you're sticking to it, then of course, do we need to do? But I think going forward in these conditions, I think it's very aggressive to have a target that far now. Kadam, why did you enter trade in the last day of the week for Euro? Could have waited until Monday. Why would I wait till Monday? What happens if Euro USD moves 100 pips today, and then if I enter Monday, I'm going to have a 100 pip bigger stop loss and a worse entry, and the risk reward won't be as good. Again, for me, I don't really have a thing with the day of the week in terms of looking for trades. If there's a trade opportunity on Friday or a Monday or whatever day it is, I'll take the trade. So yeah, of course, in terms of holding over the weekend, if you don't want to hold over the weekend, of course, I understand that, but I don't really have an issue with holding over the weekend either. So yeah, that's why I took the trade. What's up, Lauda? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. There's a cult. Everybody's defending the dude. Yeah, that's always a funny way to say it as well. He blew account on purpose. In that case, everyone can say that as well. Who loses intentionally? And for what benefit as well? How does that benefit you? In what way? Like I said, don't want to get too much into the drama, the politics. It doesn't gap up like Amazon. Yeah, I mean it does have some gaps sometimes, Euro. Of course, it's not immune to it, but the gaps would be very, very small 99% of the time unless something crazy happens over the weekend. But the gaps will be very, very small even if they do happen. But of course, holding over the weekend, there's swap charges as well. So maybe that aspect you don't want to get involved with. So I can understand that as well. But then again, you don't want to be swing trading at that point. So yeah, I can understand that. But for me, it doesn't really matter what day of the week is. If there's a nice setup that fits the plan, I'm taking the trade. Whether it's like I said, whether it's a Monday or whatever, I'll take the position. But like I said, if I do take the position on Monday and I got the signal on Friday, price could move a considerable distance. I'm not saying it will, but it could do. And then by Monday, my trade entry is at a way worse price, and my stop loss is going to be a lot bigger, and my targets is not going to be as big anymore because my entry price is worse off. So it doesn't make sense to wait, really, unless you just want to avoid all those things. But then again, you wouldn't want to be swing trading anyway if that's the case. So yeah, that's kind of the reason why. I mean, I know some people who don't like trading on Fridays as well. And I know some people who don't like trading on Mondays either. Then you can have some people who don't like trading Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. But yeah, I don't have a thing with the day of the week, especially trading swing as well. I think in terms of day trading, you might have some preferences in terms of days of the week that you do better on. But in terms of myself, I don't really have a particular day of the week which I perform a lot better on, a lot worse. I do have a marginal difference, but it's not big enough for me to write off a day or focus on a particular day. today's PPI and I want to avoid drawdown, I can stay out and wait until Monday. Again, if that's the reason why you want to wait out because of the PPI, that's perfectly fine as well. But with my swing position on euro, I'm not looking to hold for a day or 2 days. It's gonna take a while. It's gonna probably take a week or 2 weeks for it to play out. And in that space of 1 week and 2 weeks, there will be a lot of USD news. There'll be euro news. Pretty sure we got euro interest rates on next week, Wednesday or Thursday. So there will be a lot of news in that span of time. So if I'm going to look to swing trade, I'm going to have to be open to holding through news. And if you don't want to be, that's completely fine as well. But with me, like I said, the only three major events that I would consider not opening a new trade for is CPI, NFP, and Fed interest rate. Every other news event I'll trade through, because if I don't, then I will never find an entry. Because if I don't take the entry today, there'll be a news event tomorrow. There'll be a news event the day after. So I won't go anywhere with it. But if you don't want to trade for news, then that's fine. But you're going to find it really hard to hold trades for the long run because there's always news. Yeah, okay, there's no need to get offensive on the chat. We're all here to learn. We're all here for the same goal, people. No need to throw punches back and forth here. I'm sure Holy One didn't mean anything bad with his comments there. Maybe he didn't come across the best, but I'm sure he didn't mean anything bad with it. But like I say, trading is a very individual thing. Some people will happily trade for news. Some people want to stay away. There's many factors that come into play: risk tolerance, size of the account, whether you're in a drawdown or you're winning. At the moment in time, a lot of things play into account. So my advice is, whatever is comfortable with you, stay with that. I've always said with news, I'll trade through it happily, because I do have wider stops and bigger targets. But if there is a big event like a CPI or NFP or a Fed, I will refrain from opening new trades. Like last week when we had, was it last week? Can't remember now. Either last week or the week before, we had Fed interest rates coming out soon, and I didn't enter a dollar yen position because I was ready trading something else. Can't remember what I was trading. I was long Euro USD. Yeah, I was long Euro USD, and I was also wanting to get into dollar yen position. But I decided not to because Fed interest rate was coming out, so I refrained from entering a new trade. But I still held Euro USD for it, but I didn't take dollar yen. So from a news point of view, I may not look to add a new position if it's a big event like Fed, NFP, or CPI. But PPI, you're definitely right; it can move the market, but it's not big enough for me to worry too much. But yeah, PPI can lose the trade, it can win the trade for me. It's just charge it to the game. But anyway, so in terms of my trading, pound yen shorts, Euro USD longs, and Oz CHF shorts is where I'm at. 3 positions to look after. The ones that break even, so technically 2 trades at risk. And we'll see how that goes. But I like the Euro USD longs as well because effectively it should be a hedge to pound yen and Aussie CHF if everything goes well. Because if Euro USD was to go against me, I'm expecting pound yen and Aussie CHF go for me. If Euro USD does go for me, I'm expecting pound yen and Aussie CHF to go against me, most likely. But we'll see. Yeah, I know. It's a little bit of trading beef. I mean, we're trading here, things can get stressful. Um, yeah, but yeah, keep it PG on the chat, guys, and civil. We're not here to start wars. And if you have issues with people, take it off the stream, take it into the DMs or whatever. Um, but yeah, we're all here to get along and discuss trading. But yeah, if something does happen which I don't like, I will then step in and remove someone or ban someone from the chat. But anything else, you want to keep it in the DMs if that's the case. And speaking of trades, is anyone in any positions? Because it's not every week I'm in 3 trades at once. Euro longs, pound yen shorts, and Aussie CHF shorts. Not every week I'm in 3 trades, but then again, it looks like I'm very active in the markets, but I actually haven't been, because I've been working with elevated traders. But pound yen short was 2 weeks ago. Aussie CHF short was a week and a half ago. So I actually haven't taken any new positions since last week Tuesday. So I haven't actually been very active. It's just that I've been holding on to them and I'm managing them accordingly. And pound yen is kind of just messing around there, really. So that's why I'm still in that position now. And of course, I've hopped into euro. Never in 3 trades either, but you're today. Which positions are you in? I know you're in US 30. You're in Aussie Chef as well. I remember you saying you got a small buy position yesterday. Yeah, what's the third one? What is the third one? How are the other indices doing? S&P stalling a little bit. Nas, what we're saying. They're doing the same thing, really. Stalling at the high. I do expect them to break. But we'll wait for PPI, see what happens with that. Okay, you're an Aussie CAD buy as well. Okay, is the Aussie CAD a swing trade then? Looking for a bigger move in Aussie CAD. And that's the funny thing about trading as well, that people can look at the same chart and be bullish and bearish on the same chart and have good reasons for it as well. Because I'm pretty sure Tom is short, but you're looking you're long, and I'm sure both of you had valid reasons for getting into the shorts and into the longs. As long as you managing the trade accordingly, you're just following your plan at the end of the day. Okay, Aussie CAD big swing. Fair play. I mean, again, in terms of the higher time frames, I do think Aussie CAD's got more upside to it, to be honest. It has been slowly moving in this ascending channel. I do think there is more upside to be had with Aussie CAD coming back to retest some structure here as well. So I do expect more upside in higher time frames, but of course intraday, the way we've come back into this level here, I do think we can go for a bit of a dip. It's just how far will that be before we do push back to the upside, which is kind of where I'm at with Aussie CAD. But the CAD pairs have seen a lot of upside, to be honest, in the past couple of days. EuroCAD's flown quite a lot there. Aussie CAD has flown there too. New Zealand CAD has had a nice reaction off that low. Pound CAD's seen some upside as well. Looks like that trend is just continuing. Like nothing just happened. And that's kind of what I'm expecting with Pound USD as well. Pound USD and Pound CAD are quite correlated, but I think CAD has just been really, really weak. So Pound USD hasn't got going yet. I do think Pound can find some feet and see some upside, but we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be staying a little bit stale until PPI comes out later today. Yeah, we'll take a dip soon. Okay, so where's your mental stop loss, Hurley one? Is it just below the 50 EMA or SMA? Is it EMA or SMA? Forget what you look at again. I think it's, yeah, I forget whether you look at simple or exponential. Um, but yeah, is your stop loss below the 50? Oil is strong, but it ain't benefiting CAD. Let's have a look at oil. I mean, it has been strong over the past couple of days there. So it's strong in the past hour. So that should make a bullish CAD, but I mean, it is a little bit in the past hour. Seeing a bit of a dip there for Euro CAD, Aussie CAD, a little bit of a dip. New Zealand CAD, likewise, Pound CAD, likewise as well. But of course, you might be referring to the big move that we've had as of late. So effectively, that oil strength should have seen an equal CAD move down. I mean, not a CAD move down, sorry. That strength there with oil should have put CAD strong as well, at least since Wednesday. But looking at Aussie CAD, that's moved up as well since Wednesday. So yeah, you're right. You're right. We haven't really seen that correlation come into play. I think that's just because maybe the correlation isn't as strong as it normally is right now, or just CAD just hasn't been that strong, and Aussie and New Zealand and pounds and euro have just been a lot stronger than CAD. But yeah, yeah, the correlation isn't great, and that's the thing with correlation as well. It's not always 100%. It does come into play and go out of play sometimes. So it'll be like 100%, and it will drop to like 70, and then it'll go back up again. Correlation isn't consistent. Okay, DXY we'll take a look as well. For PAS, I entered 92334, broke 1 hour 50. Mental stop loss is really based on indicators. Oh, okay. Entered 92334, 92334. Okay, so somewhere around here-ish. So yeah, I like it. I like it. I have to say, I like it. Might go for a bit of a dip and a bit of a pullback, but looking good. What moving average do you use again? Holy one, I forgot. Is it exponential or simple? Do you look at retail sentiment? No, I don't. I don't look at retail sentiment. I find it quite interesting though, but no, I don't, because I roughly understand what the retail sentiment would be. It's basically if the market's very, very bullish, most retail traders are short. If the market is very, very bearish, most retail traders are long. And if the market is in equilibrium, then the retail sentiment will be normally 50-50 or maybe 60-40. But again, the idea of retail traders is if something's really, really high up, they're looking to sell. If something's really low, they're looking to buy. And if something's in between, it's kind of like 60-40, 70-30, nothing really big. So in terms of an indicator, I don't really see much use in it, because of course the idea is that you want to be against the crowd. If you know most retail traders are buying, you want to sell, which does make sense. But you have to be careful with it as well, because retail traders are not always wrong. I've mentioned this before, but retail is not always wrong. In fact, most retail traders will have a win rate between 40 and 60%. So, on average, it's probably around 50-50. So being against the retail crowd on average probably doesn't do a lot for you. But if you focus on specific moments, which is when your technicals line up and your trading plan lines up, then it can be a bit more beneficial. But most of the time, they're just looking to sell high and buy low. So I don't really need to look at it. And I don't look at COT data as well. Okay, use the simple 50. Let me have a look. Okay, so on the 4 hour, we've just broken above it. And on the hourly, okay, we've broken above it a long time ago. But yeah, the hourly might want to say, as you say, Holy One, come home, retest the moving average before it does push up. But yeah, it's definitely struggling at that high, so it looks like we probably will go for a bit of a dip. Okay, you've used it in the past. Didn't help me anyway, both retail sentiment and C2 did. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, some people use it and they swear by it. I suppose they just use it better because I think that's a lot of technical things and indicators. Because some people don't really like a certain indicator because they don't perform well with it, but most of the time they just don't know how to use it well. And I know that's the same with me with the COT data and the retail sentiment. I don't really see much use in it, but maybe I can understand it better and find a way with it. But essentially, it already tells you information you probably already know if you have enough experience in the market. Some of the COT data, of course, that's different information. But then again, with the COT data, it's a lagging kind of indication as well. It's not like, okay, institutions are buying right now, so you want to buy now too. It's not like that. It's a bit more like what they've been doing in the past, and markets could slowly turn that way. But I think if you're going to have a longer term swing view of the market, the COT data might help well. But if you're intraday and you're looking for quick 30, 40 pip move in one direction, I don't think the COT data will add too much to your trading. And retail sentiment, I don't think it adds much anyway. Come home and headed back out the door. Great guy, what's up? Euro Aussie sells. What do I think? Okay, we'll go take a look at Euro Aussie. So yeah, if you're Aussie, I don't mind the shorts because we'll come back into that low. I'm not the biggest fan of the pair because it's been very, very choppy, but it has come back into a nice little level here. So I do like the shorts there, and there's a lot of room to the downside. I said if you're looking to take some shorts, you kind of want price to push back up again, find some resistance, and get a decent stop loss, which would be above the high here. So that's kind of where I'll look for entries. Right now, I've already had a bit of a push down, so I don't really see any good entries now because we've already kind of correctively pushed down. So you want price to push back up again, back into the high. That would be nice. Retest it. Look for some rejection on the hourly or the full hour, or what time frame you look to enter. Stops above the high, and then there's a lot of room to the downside for you to potentially capitalize on, or at least even push back to here. Yeah, sell from there to there. Could look like a great trade in itself. 1 to 1, 1 to 2. Depending on your entry, and then maybe back to the low there as well. So shorts look good for your Aussie to an extent. I think as the market is just really corrective, which is what's put me off from looking to trade it. But I do think there is room to the downside, and if you come back into the high, respect it well, it could be a really nice trade with a decent risk to reward as well. So 1.63415, this high there, is where I'll be focusing my entries if I'm short. And if we kind of just slowly roll over, then I think the ship is sailed already, so I wouldn't be interested anyway. It would have to come back up for me. But that's kind of where I'm at. Every level is made for the price, fighting and moving average. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Pedro. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Holy One, 5 minute candle on US 30. What is it? Doing a madness. I can just see it there, looking bullish. Oh, damn. Yeah, that is what's happening right now. Because New York hasn't even opened yet, so I have no idea why we're dancing like that. There's no news, is there? Especially not at 11:48. It's the most random time. Um, yeah, there isn't any news. So yeah, I have no idea. Is the other indices doing that too? A little bit there on S&P, NAS. What we doing? A little bit on NAS, but US 30 is getting the bulk of it. Yeah, interesting there. And that's weird because it's not even New York yet, and there's no news. But it's getting excited. I think that's good for you though, early one, because you're long. So if that momentum can pick up, you'll be laughing. But yeah, that is a bit weird. It is a bit weird. No idea why that's happening. Check the 4 hour of which chart? The Euro Aussie you're talking about? Yeah, I'm confused what you're referring to, Pedro. Plot 2150 and 100 smooth moving average. Okay. Let me add 2150 and was it 100 you said? Yeah. And the 100. Okay, so you're saying that we've come back into all those moving averages basically. Yeah, pretty much so. I mean, in terms of my analysis, it pretty much still stands, to be honest. It's at an area where we can see some nice downside. But if I'm looking for an entry, I want it to be as close to that high as possible. Every level of the 4 hour will be around those. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the moving average, it definitely had a lot of confluence to it. I mean, in terms of how price respects those moving averages, yeah, of course. I mean, if you plot three more, moving averages, you'll find even more levels, really. So yeah, that's it. Before this, that was US. What was that? I can't remember what I was looking at before this. Was it? I mean, I know I was just looking at US 30, but that was on the 5 minute. I mean, it's doing a pretty good job there, to be honest. Doing a really good job there. Yeah, I'm always been a big fan of moving averages. I think they're very effective. I use them more in terms of support and resistance rather than direction. So I like them in terms of like a confluence for a zone to buy or a zone to sell. In terms of direction, I just use purely market structure. Okay, Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD. On the 4 hour, we kind of left it behind, haven't we? Not really in the moving averages anymore. I mean, we could pull back into them, which is kind of what we referred to before. But yeah, my take on moving averages, they can be really effective when you're applying them with other tools. But yeah, on the 4 hour, we bounced from that area, but might pull back into them. They're very laggy, but they know how to work around that. Yeah, that's the key thing that people don't like about moving averages because they lag. It's not like they're here and now. But again, with the indicators, they provide you information that otherwise you wouldn't know. So of course they lag, and that's the thing. They're not perfect. Moving average is not the holy grail. I don't think anyone just trades purely off moving averages alone and makes money solely that way. They'll look at price, they'll look at market structure, candlesticks, other things as well will come into play, and they'll probably use other indicators too. So people don't like them because they lag, and that's completely fine. But they do still provide information, still provide useful information, which could be which you could use as confluence and benefit a position. So Yes, they do lag, but then you do have indicators which don't lag, which like candlesticks, price action. Yeah, that's the here and now. If you combine that with the moving averages, it kind of cancels out the lag as well. And Fibonacci doesn't lag. I mean, the levels are made for the price fighting the SMA. Yeah, I'm still not sure what you're referring to. If you're referring to them as like levels of support and resistance for people to buy at, then yeah, I agree. I think yeah, just a bit of the wording I'm not understanding, but I think I get what you mean. I use obviously yeah the 50, and you use the simple as well. I like using the exponential. I never really used the smoothed moving average, to be honest. I don't know how is that calculated. I know simple, I know exponential, but I've never used the smoothed. I know how the exponential and the simple, of course, is done, but smoothed, never used it before. Never ever used it before. So if you want to probably have a look, see how it's calculated, because I'm interested now. Smooth, very accurate. Yeah, but I want to know how it's calculated, because I know exponential, the the weighting is given to more recent figures. So of course, when they're doing the average price, they'll give more weighting to the newest, to the most recent price, and less to the oldest. And of course, simple is just giving you the simple average, um, adding it up and dividing by how many price points there are. But in terms of the smooth, I have no idea how that's calculated. Oh, you mean on balance volume? I thought you meant obviously, as an of. See that tells me you're a bit older, Holy One, because if you're my age, if you're writing of, that means obviously. Not down with the lingo, mate. Not down with the lingo. Or at least I'm not down with your lingo anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna hold on to my positions. I think I don't know. Pound yen is just, to be fair, if it's gonna stop me out, just get it done with it. Get it done with it, so I can move on. But in terms of me actually doing anything, there's nothing for me to do apart from just wait and watch. Of course, Euro, I'll be looking to hold on to that, see what happens with Euro. Of course, obviously CHF, I'll be looking to manage that. But the only thing for me to do really is if we only break the low. If we break the low, then I'll look to trail. If not, my break even's already there anyway. So if it pushes up, we'll move on and take the break even. In terms of Euro, I'll wait for it to make a bigger move. I think until it kind of hits some of these areas, I want it to do anything. If we can start the trade up there, then I'll probably lock into break even. And then if I can see some structure, I might start to trail. It depends, but we'll see. And then pound yen, if it miraculously decides to fall to the downside, then of course I'll see what we can do in terms of trading as well. But that was a long, long way away. But yeah, in terms of the news, we'll see what happens this afternoon. We'll see what happens this afternoon. 1:30 we got PPI, then 3 o'clock we got Michigan consumer sentiment. So I'll see what happens with that, but not expecting anything crazy. Yes, 40. Yeah, that's where the lingo breaks down a little bit. Catch you in 3 days. Okay, you're not about on Monday, everyone. But anyway, I'll see you when I see you. How the other USD pairs looking? Dollar CAD still very bullish. Dollar CHF looking pretty bullish. Aussie dollar kind of a bit sideways. Gold still flirting with that level over there. Same with silver as well. How's pound? Yeah, pound's still moving corrective. I like pound. If pound can break that channel, I think we'll fly. But I'm in euro, so I'm not gonna get involved in both. But I think pound looks equally as good right now. And in terms of dollar still messing around in that 103 area, looking for a move down. Anyway, we'll see how things go. I think PPI will cause a little bit of movement, but I think the real movement will probably start from next week. Is it Monday 3 days? I suppose so, it is. Yeah. See, that's the experience kicking in there. I suppose it is 3 days, isn't it? I don't know why I thought today was Saturday. I didn't stream on Saturday. Annie, what's up? Can you take a look at crude oil for the next couple of days? Yeah, sure. We haven't actually looked at oil. Oil's been pretty bullish. I do think we can see a bit more upside in oil, to be honest. I'm looking for us to come back into 77.5. And yeah, 71.6 where we bounced from. So in terms of the higher time frames, there is a lot of upside potential for oil. You know, we're coming back into a really significant low where we did see a lot of upside in the past, but I'm not necessarily expecting us to get all the way up there again, at least without breaking through some key structure, because we are still forming these lower highs here on the daily chart or weekly chart as well. So I'm kind of expecting that to come into place again and maybe another drop back down. So with oil, in terms of finding some nice trades, you know, this really was the best place for the entry, retesting the high, retesting that low. Now they're kind of there, we're in the middle of nowhere a little bit. So I don't really see much opportunity in oil, and I wouldn't drop to the lower time frames to now look for a retest here or somewhere. I think it's just, you're not putting yourself in a great position in terms of the stop loss anyway. I think a stop loss underneath there is quite vulnerable, but a stop loss here, you do have some protection there. So really, if I was looking to trade oil, I would be looking at buys, but if I want to find an entry, it would have to come back down to 71-ish for me to find that entry. Otherwise, maybe a break and retest of the high, but it's a bit too close to the trend line for my liking. But in terms of my bias for oil, it is bullish. So if you have some bullish opportunities that fit your plan, of course, go ahead. But for me, it would have to be back down there if I'm looking for an entry. But I think we can push back to 77 if we get the break. We can start to discuss that major trend line on the daily/weekly chart as well. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with oil. I think we're going to see more upside over the next couple of days. But yeah, that kind of brings us to the end of the stream, guys. If you have found it useful, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. And of course, make sure you go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. If you have found it useful, entertaining, show some love, guys. Drop a like. I think I already said that, but if you haven't dropped a like, then please drop a like. And subscribe as well. And if you have done already, check out Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. It is at the top of the chat. This kind of opportunities will be available there when we do launch, so check it out. And of course, we can discuss different trading opportunities. I'll update you on some of my trades there as well. So if you want to discuss, join the Discord. It is very much free. But yeah, apart from that, guys, have a great Friday, a great weekend. I'll of course upload my analysis on the weekend as always for the upcoming week. But yeah, have a great weekend, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.